Hey sports fans, it's Gridiron Girl here. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've posted. I've missed you. It's been a hella crazy summer. Don't even get me started. I did promise you a segment on special teams, and I will admit this one I was struggling with. I was struggling on the segment about defense because it was too long. I've been struggling just in general on special teams because, well, I needed to find out how I understood it so that I could explain it to somebody else. So here we go. I did ask a couple of friends about their opinions of it so that I could kind of wrap my mind around it to give a really good description, at least at first. And one of my friends had something that he wrote up for me, and I really appreciated it. And I wanted to read a segment of it here because I think it really kind of nails down special teams, at least in definition. And so you know who you are, and please don't ding me in points for lack of creativity. Alrighty, here we go. Special teams on defense are specifically trained to essentially corral and confine the opposing team on kickoffs or punts, to limit return yardage, close open run lanes, and prevent the opposing team from gaining critical field position. On offense, they are trained to know how to create gaps for the returner, spread the field, and prevent the opposing defense from establishing a clear ability to tackle the returner. He says, I'd relate it to cattle herding in a way. Special teams tries to steer the opposing players into certain direction to reduce how open the field is from the sideline to sideline, as well as limiting how far the ball is advanced. It's the same whether it's offense or defense. It's just that the agendas are different. So thank you very much. That was, in my opinion, a pretty good definition. The way I look at special teams is it's kind of the spackle that goes in between what the offense and offensive strategy does and the defense, at least traditionally. The key elements for special teams are going to be the starting kickoff, the punt, and also the field goal. And then you also have the guys who are the returners and, of course, the kickers. Special teams has been kind of an iffy thing, at least with regard to the field goal kickers in the past couple of seasons with the Seahawks, because we didn't really have, in my opinion, a very consistent couple of guys. One of them, in my opinion, he was a kicker from Miami. He was completely freaked out, and he was freaked out before we signed him. The other one was drafted in the year 2000, and we signed him in 2018. Really brilliant. Neither one of those worked out. And we didn't have a very good kicker since we let go of Stephen Hauschka. There was talk about whether or not there was enough money to justify what he was asking for. He went off. We released him. He went off to Buffalo and ended up having the best season of his career. Anyway, we have a new guy now. He's looking pretty good. Today was the first regular season game with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he did his job. He delivered. I really appreciated that. Okay, you have the kickoff. The teams will have the coin toss at the beginning of the game. There's going to be a kicking team and a receiving team. The kicking team is going to want to make sure about field position. So they're going to kick the ball, and they're going to try their best once that ball is caught to be able to keep that receiver as contained as possible, because they want the opposing team to have poor field position. That means that if the opposing team is further out from the 50-yard line, further into their critical red zone area, then you achieved your opposition, or you achieved your goal. Anyway, all right. So moving on, you also have the punt. The punt is essentially going to be kicked probably by the same guy as the field goal. Our guy is Dixon, and correct me if I'm wrong. They are going to use a punt when you can't convert. So that means that you have essentially the offense is going to want to have a drive. They're going to go from wherever their starting field position is as far as they can, as consistently as they can, to get to the goal line so that they can score. Conversion is when you have third down, and maybe it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 1, something like that, and you get to that desired yard, you get your desired yardage, and you can convert it to a 1st and 10. That means you have 4 other downs to go when you can either run the ball or pass the ball. I hope that makes sense. And then finally, you have the field goal. That is a very, very critical part of the game because, like field position, it really, really dictates whether or not you're going to be able to score, and in the case of a field goal, whether or not you're going to win. Field goals are critically important because they're an opportunity for the team to score even if they don't make a goal, or your traditional touchdown, I should say. Anyway, a field goal is going to give you 3 points, and that 3 points can be really, really critical, as evidenced by the 1 point game that we had with the Cincinnati Bengals. They say football is a game of inches. Well, it can also be a game of special teams prowess. Field goals are traditionally, I think, in my experience, well, the standard is usually inside 35 to 40 yards. If you can get the ball to inside 35 or 40 yards, you'll call out your kicker. He's going to come out and he's going to hopefully make the goal. Outside of 35 or 40 points, it really depends on how good your kicker is, how experienced he is. I've seen guys kick 54-yard field goals, which I think are amazing, because if you've ever been on a field in high school, college, or even at CenturyLink, you're going to see that that is an amazing distance. And to do it with consistency, to get it within the uprights, that's more power to you. So 35 to 40 yards is what the ball carriers are wanting to get to, or what the offense is wanting to get to, because that's going to give a comfortable zone for the field goal kicker to do his job. And he does his job, and the next thing you know, you've got 3 points on the board, which could very well mean the difference between winning or losing. The other thing that I wanted to say about field goals is that the kickers are very particular. They're going to check the wind. They're going to check the wind speed. Is there precipitation? Is there snow? If it's really, really cold, how hard is the ball? If it's raining, how slick the ball is. It's all of these different things that are very, very scientific that I didn't really even think about until I started watching and I heard the commentators talk about it. So all of this to say that there is more than just the offense and defense. And it's all about field position and getting those critical points on the board. So I hope that in the next game that you watch, whether it's the Seahawks or any of your favorite teams, you'll take a look and see that there is something special about special teams. And maybe you'll see something special and something a little bit different than you did before, which is always my goal. Whether it's field goals or touchdowns, my goal is to make sure that I can bring up some ideas that maybe you haven't thought of before or maybe haven't seen before. So I hope you got something out of this rambling, and that you'll have an opportunity to see something you didn't see before. Again, if you have any questions, you can always PM me. And also, if you have anything that you want to add, I'm quite sure that some of my more opinionated friends will definitely tell me whether or not they think this is accurate. So from me to you, thank you very much, especially to the 5 people that are watching and that wonderful golden retriever who's probably been asleep for the last 6 days. I appreciate it. I appreciate your attention, and the thought that maybe I could help is really what gives me passion to be able to continue to do these things. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, and go Hawks.